At this time, I'd like to call to order the 13 May 2024 Jackson County Commission meeting. I'd like to welcome everyone for being here. I know we have a lot of folks interested in a speaker item that we have tonight, so we welcome that. But before we proceed, we would like to acknowledge the severe weather event that we had over the weekend, or last Wednesday and Thursday morning, tornado events that we had across our county, has had a very serious impact on families throughout our county and communities across Jackson County. And those families and those communities are certainly in our thoughts and prayers. But also, we would like to express our sincere thank you for everybody that responded immediately. And it was across the county. We had volunteer organizations and individual volunteers responding. We had neighbors helping neighbors right away. And our county departments, state departments, and service providers were there immediately. In many cases, as soon as the event had occurred, they were on site serving to help. And so we certainly want to say thank you to that. We will have some more discussion of that later in our agenda in a couple of areas that we will talk about that. But with that, I'd like to ask Ms. Johnson, Assistant County Administrator, please call the roll to establish a quorum.
District 1, Commissioner Gully.
Present.
District 2, Commissioner Kennemer.
Present.
District 3, Commissioner Buckner.
Present.
And District 4, Commissioner McBride.
Present. We do have a quorum. Thanks for everyone being here, and thanks for all of you being here. We'd like at this time, if everyone would please stand. We'd like to ask Mr. Porter, our county attorney, to please offer invocation, and Commissioner Buckner will lead us in our pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray together. God, our Father in heaven, you are great. You are in charge of all things. And last week we had some bad weather here. We had some problems that occurred because of the weather, and God, we know during those times that there are those that are affected by the weather and by the disasters, but there are also those that respond. So God, for those that have been affected, we offer prayers of comfort, we offer prayers for healing, but for those that responded, God, we offer prayers of thanksgiving. We're so thankful that there are men and women throughout our county and throughout our country that respond when others need help. So we're thankful for them. We pray you'll continue to watch over them. Keep them safe, keep their families safe. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In your packets, you have an agenda. Would make one addition to the agenda tonight, and it will be in the new business portion of our agenda, and it will be item 6D, and that will be a motion to approve and authorize the chairman to sign a declaration of emergency conditions for Jackson County dated 13 May 2024. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. To have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. I don't think we have any awards or presentations tonight. If not, we will move to our public comment. And Mr. White, please, sir, we have a podium up here and a microphone for you. I'm going to ask you two questions. I think you've done this before.
Yeah, I believe so.
So just two questions for the record. Would you state your full name?
James E. White.
So,
Go by Jay.
Mr. White?
Yeah.
Okay. Jay? Would you tell us, are you representing yourself or an organization?
Representing Tri-Community Fire Department, but represents the association and all these different fire departments in the county.
Okay, sir. So with that, let me, 5 minutes for comment.
Last time I was here, I believe it was me and Vaughn. It was just, that was all I was here, but as you can see, there's 24 fire departments and stations, approximately 500 volunteer firefighters. We serve our communities and the county. Many departments are struggling to pay insurance, fuel bills, recruit, and maintain volunteers. We continue to have our jobs made more difficult. For example, each acknowledge the issue with the TVA funds. For many of our departments, it don't even really matter when we receive the check. However, to many, it could be the difference between having insurance on a vehicle worth hundreds of thousands of dollars or not. We are yet to have a solution to a problem we had for 4 years. We recently spoke to the commission about the department not having money to pay for insurance for next year. This issue could be very well affect more than one department, and we are still waiting for an answer about helping us. The recent change of Highlands Medical Center and their affiliation with Huntsville Hospital also has added to our already heavy workload. While we were assured there would be no decrease in services once ambulance was taken out of service, almost immediately extended response times to due to lack of ambulance caused our folks to be on calls for longer periods of time, costing more money and taking valuable time, family time, which in turn makes it harder to maintain and recruit members. Let's see. Ambulance service does not transport bodies any longer. As you know, they are transported by private service now. This brings multiple concerns. A corpse may remain on the ground in public sight for an extended period of time. In many instances of a fatality, the investigating officer may come from another county. On top of that delay, we have to wait for the response on the transport service. As you also know, we are very active in severe weather. We respond to numerous fallen trees. We have recently found out that the road department will not respond to our request for assistance until a deputy arrives and confirm we need help. We have no idea why this was implemented. We also respond to motor vehicle accidents and stay in direct traffic, hopefully avoid any further problems. Yet, this is yet another free service we provide to avoid tying up deputies. These are some of the most urgent issues we are facing and need your help. We cannot continue and maintain the asset that we know we are in this country. We also know that some, if not all of you, are aware of the things I spoke of. Gentlemen, it's time for action. Now, I was given this to read, but my thing about it is there was just one department here, like I said. Now we got more, a whole lot more people. This whole issue is affecting a lot, 500 almost, but it's affecting the help that you get at your house. You may need us, so this is your problem too. We can't cut the trees out of the road. We can't do the work that the county does to help you, then we might as well just stay at the house. You know, if y'all can help us do our job to help you and the rest of everybody else in the county, and you know, if we're having to wait at a house for somebody dies, and wait for this service to come from Gunnersville to pick up a body, we're at the house as a responder. We're having to deal with this family, the dead person, the whole situation. Man, that's horrible. You know, I don't know if y'all have ever done it, but we've all done it. And there's other issues that, I mean, like I said, fuel, everything we do for the county. We do for the county, the community. So we expect y'all to figure out somehow that you can help us do our jobs to pay our bills. Something. I mean, I've only come asked one time about this. Other people's asked time, may have been a different bunch of people, but I was in here in February, this is May, and we're gonna have storms all the time. Storms gonna happen. Who's the first ones there? Do y'all belong to the volunteer fire? So you know, you're the first one there. We're the first one there. If we ain't there, who's gonna be there? And a lot of times, at a tree in the road, I call 911, hey, we need a deputy up here. Because people driving on that road, they don't pay no attention to no red light. They'll pay attention to blue light. I asked for a deputy. There ain't none available. And I'm in Bryant, you know, I'm a long way out, there ain't one available. Or they're in Scottsboro, or they're somewhere else besides where we need them. I know, I mean, you talked about they hired some more guys, but that's great. That's a help. But we need the help too. And we're asking for it. We're all asking for your help. So that's basically all I got to say. I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything, but that's all I got to say.
Okay, let me ask you any questions.
Mr. Chairman, since we're talking about several different departments and
department heads in this, would be a good idea for us to go into executive session with these gentlemen. And
We could, we'll look at that at another time, yes,
Okay.
and we'll do that. But I'm gonna make a comment here. We have departments across this county that are out every day working to support our citizens. We understand how important the things that you do for our county. We clearly do. But I do know that we have departments that respond. We have a sheriff's office that's got 1,170 square miles to affect with the department that they have. Yeah, they're short-staffed for the job that we're giving them to do. So, but I will tell you, I know that they work to respond to every situation.
Right.
Our Public Works Department, they respond to trees on the road. They may have crews in a lot of places doing a lot of work, but they respond. So I'm not going to take issue with that. I will say that they, like you folks, work very hard to support the citizens of our county. So we'll look into those questions that you have. Yeah, the Highlands is no longer doing transport services for bodies. We have taken the step to fund the contract for body transport service. And I have talked to the coroner about we may need some additional help. And we'll look into that. And I understand there have been a couple of cases where it's been late in getting there. And so we will work on that. And we will have that discussion with coroner, and we will have the discussion with Highlands as well about that. We understand the issue. We are not fully engaged yet with our 2025 budget. And so we will look at what we can do. But I also will tell you that the 2025 budget is going to be a tight budget. Projections of what we see in revenue right now is not the increase we would hope to have in revenue. So we may, working with you folks, try to find some help in other areas. And I won't get into that, but we can have a discussion with it. But we understand where you are. We do. And we will take a hard look at this, but we've got to take a hard look at our 2025 budget and see where we are and what we can do. So let me ask any other comments from anybody.
I do respect everything you guys do. I'm honored that you all come out tonight. I cannot imagine what you've seen, what you've experienced, and you know, and I know that you're not doing it for money, but you do need operating costs, you do need supports, and so we're very mindful of that. So thank you for that, and as you alluded to, if something happens, we want you guys out there. We want you helping us. The same thing with Rocky, the same thing with Jonathan. We want to make sure that we know that there's some help coming, and so you know, and Thursday morning, I'm going down 30 checking damage, and the ASPL group was working a wreck right there, cutting down trees and cleaning the way on the state road. I mean, I know that's not just a task because there was a wreck because there was a tree down in the road, and so I'm thankful for what you do, and I'm honored that you're here again advocating, and we do hear you. It's just it's not something that we're sitting there with a pot of money going, well, we're going to hold this back and make you guys suffer. I do agree with the chairman. We need to look at creative ways of making sure that we can help you, and we don't want it to be just a hey, here's a one-time gesture and everybody gets their picture made and it not be something that's sustainable. We need to find a way to make sure you guys are able to do what you're able to do and we're not sacrificing from somewhere else. So thank you for that.
Yeah, we get the word volunteer, for sure.
You got that right.
You guys were out on the roads with us all night, Wednesday night. You were up in the Hennigan area, Pleasant View area. You were out in Slim Rock and Distal Forks and those places all across the county. We know you're there. We really do, and we truly appreciate what you're doing for us. We just got some work to do to find how we can do this.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to. If you have us back, we discuss it. There's got maybe grant. There's got to be something.
Maybe when we have an executive session, invite a couple of you to come and let's talk about it. But I will say we need to find solutions other than just the general fund. I think all of you know what we do with the general fund. We support every department in the county.
Right.
So, we'll continue to work, and like we told you last time, we would work on it, and it would be a while before we got to the budget.
Right.
We're not ignoring.
Right, we just gonna make sure that it stays on the front burner
Oh.
and don't get on the back burner.
Jay, you let me know every now and then, it's not on, it's not on the back burner, okay?
Yeah.
So, anything else, guys?
Yeah, I've been in volunteer fire service 32 years
Right.
myself, so I understand, and I know, and trust me, I'm here to advocate for you, and I know I was chairman of the healthcare authority for 12 years over that ambulance service,
Right.
so I understand the change and the changes that are here and there's things we're gonna work on, but one thing you have to understand, and this is one thing I had to understand when I got into politics, I guess, is sometimes things don't move as fast as you would like for them to move.
Right.
But just cause you don't see action on the front side, that doesn't mean that action is not being handled on the back side.
Right.
So sometimes in local government, things move at a slower pace, but we're diligently working behind the scenes to try to come up with help that is sustainable help.
Right. As long as we just keep moving
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, and I've been in talks with Bob
Right.
over the association, and we're looking at different avenues, and you're not forgotten. So just cause you don't hear anything for a month or so, just know you're not forgotten. Things are being worked on the backside.
Right,
And feel free to come to me with any needs that you have.
right,
I've been in the business a long time, so
right.
I'm here for you.
That's what Clinton said.
Kevin?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo things. Thank you guys, everyone, for all the hard work you put in to volunteer your time. It's not unnoticed. I think it would be a great idea for us to sit down like we talked about there as a group. Maybe y'all could designate a few people and sit down, go into executive session, and we need to talk about a plan.
Yeah.
Plan for the TVA and lieu tax money, and when they get that, it needs to be, everything needs to be on schedule.
You're right.
And, I think if we have consistency, I think that'll go a long way in helping our problems.
Yep.
But we can get into specifics.
Sounds good.
Okay. We certainly gave you 4 and 5 minutes because this is a conversation we need to have, so thank you
I
very
heard
much,
that.
Jay.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, we'll see you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, folks, for all of you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move into the new business portion of our meeting. We only have a couple items here, but they are important items. First of all, in your package, you have the minutes from the April the 8th, 2024 meeting. Give you a minute to look over that. Also in the packet is the April 24th meeting. Do I have a motion to adopt the minutes from the April 8th, 2024 meeting and the work session, and the April 24th, 2024 meeting and work session?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion to have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any questions, discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. We talked at our last meeting about 2 budget adjustments that we need to make. Number one is how we account for our American Rescue Plan Act funds. The requirement now is that as we expend funds from the American Rescue Plan Act, we need to make amendments to our budget. And that amendment would account for the expenditure of those funds and also the transfer of the ARPA funds to the general fund account. If you see your packet, as we discussed last time, this year to date, we have expended $2.7 million and for ARPA activity, and so we would adjust the budget, the revenue budget for $2.7 million and show in the expenditure account the $2.7 million. Do I have a motion to approve the budget amendment for ARPA expenditures?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion to have a second.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The other budget adjustment that we have to make, our ACCA liability self-insurance fund, that cost of insurance has increased from what we had projected last year. We had projected, based upon some information, a number for our budget, our 2024 budget of $138,474.46. We've recently got notice that the insurance this year will in fact cost us $199,167.93. So this budget adjustment would increase the expenditure account to $199,167, and those funds would come out of our general fund. So do I have a motion to approve the budget amendment for property insurance?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, to have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any questions or discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The last item is what we have added to the agenda tonight in recognition, and we will have again some more discussion of this in our work session. But we're at the point of needing to approve and authorize the signature of a declaration of emergency conditions for Jackson County. The basis of this, first I would say the response has been extremely well done. We have been able to handle with the volunteers and with our county departments and with state departments and others, we have been able to take care of clearing roads, and we've been able to take care of getting communications reestablished, power reestablished. Those safety items that we have, that we were immediately concerned about. But as we look at the damage assessment that we're in the process of doing and the cost of that damage, it is far exceeding what our level would be required for that. By that, we have to, where we can then file for help is that amount, and will be talked about later, is $242,000. We have greatly exceeded that level. We will pass these estimated damage expense costs on to the state as they start to accumulate from all the counties, those expenditures. But in order for us to be able to quickly and properly respond to the recovery phase of cleanup, we need authorization to work as fast as possible for contracts and expenditure of funds to do those jobs. And so this declaration of emergency conditions for Jackson County states, and not for the purpose of approval, I will read it all. And it says, declaration of emergency conditions for Jackson County. Whereas at least 3 tornadoes impacted several communities, causing massive property damage and constituting a serious hazard and disruption to lives in Jackson County. And whereas there is an existing disruption to public infrastructure, travel, and daily life to our citizens, with response and recovery placing an unforeseen strain and financial burden on county and local government. And whereas all of the above could adversely affect the health, safety, and economy of the people of the county. Whereas Alabama Code 31-910, 1975, provides the power and authority for a political subdivision such as Jackson County to declare a state of local emergency and to waive the procedures and formalities otherwise required of a political subdivision by law, including but not limited to performance of public work and taking whatever prudent actions is necessary to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of the community, entering into contracts, incurring obligations, employment of temporary workers, utilization of volunteer workers, rental equipment, acquisition and distribution with or without compensation of supplies, materials, and facilities, and appropriation of expenditure of public funds. Now therefore be it resolved, this 13th day of May 2024, that the weather impacts to Jackson County posed a serious threat to the lives of residents of Jackson County, Alabama, and that a state of local emergency has been declared effective 5 p.m. this date for Jackson County. With that, do I have a motion to approve and authorize the chairman to sign the declaration of emergency conditions for Jackson County dated 13 May 2024?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. To have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second. Any questions or discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. We will get that signed immediately. This declaration was prepared and ready to be signed this past Friday, but we realized at the time that we did not have a resolution in place that allowed the chairman, with the approval of the commission, at any time we needed a declaration of emergency with consultation with the commission, to assign and approve a declaration. We will move to get that changed so that we can act expeditiously.
Yeah, I want to make sure that's on the next
It will be on the
agenda,
next agenda to approve that.
because to me, in a severe weather situation, the likelihood of us not being able to get together to meet is pretty high. And so,
Okay, thanks much. So that's the last item in our new business portion. We do have several items in our work session. First item is an update on the designated market area for TV viewing. I don't know, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, did you give me a date on that meeting that we're gonna have to discuss that?
We'll get you a date, we'll set it up with an agenda, and Jay, we'll get a meeting set up.
Okay,
to do
all right.
this.
I appreciate it.
All right.
thanks, sir.
Thank
I
you.
guarantee you after tonight, we'll get you a meeting.
All right, thank you.
The designated market area, as many of you know, the Federal Communications Commission, really about a year ago, made the decision that they would change the designated market area from Huntsville to Chattanooga. And many of you, if you're like me and where I live, only stations you can get are Chattanooga stations now. You can't get Huntsville stations. In an event like we saw this past week, how important it is that the citizens, residents of Jackson County get early warning of severe and dangerous weather conditions. The Huntsville stations, whenever they provide those weather situations, they start tracking weather as it crosses the Mississippi-Alabama state line. And they start providing timelines of when it's going to get into communities, and they start also showing weather tracks. Our Emergency Management Office utilizes the National Weather Service as their source of information, but most folks in Jackson County don't have access to the National Weather Service. So we make in our notices that we send out notices that say, tune in to your local Huntsville stations for weather information. Now, we're sending information to everybody that is on the system that our EMA has. But it's important that people be able to see this information, because that gives them information of when they need to take cover for safety purposes. That was a big case that we made to the Federal Communications Commission. We filed a petition to the commission on the 12th of March. We highlighted that. We gave examples of that. We gave examples of tornado situations where we've had a significant loss of life due to severe weather. We also addressed things such as local sports. The fact that our citizens no longer are getting the kind of information they'd like to see with our high schools teams and how they progress through. Somebody needs to move, I guess, so that it comes back. We have a new lighting system in the courthouse, and if we're still for a long time, the lights are going to go out. So anyhow, we did file a petition on the 12th of March. We got notified last week. The TV stations in Huntsville got notified last week, and our congressmen and senators got notified that the FCC has decided to change the designated market area back to Huntsville. Now, it will be effective the 3rd of October, but they will make that change, and so that is really good news for Jackson County residents. So thanks for our EMA office, who did a lot of work helping us for that, and so just wanted to give you an update with that. Next item is in solid waste. We have a couple of items, and so Director Skipper.
Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for letting me speak tonight. I believe first on the agenda is surplus of a garbage truck. It's a garbage truck that we no longer use anymore. We got it replaced with a new one. It's a 2017 Mack Granite. You see before you, we've got it where we can post it on Gov Deals to sell. If you have any questions, I can answer.
Does it still operate?
Yeah, we just don't use it.
Okay.
What are your expectations for how much money you get?
The last one we've done pretty good. We've it sold for about $75,000. This is a sister of that one.
About the same condition?
Okay, so we can put this on new business next meeting.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions on this? Okay.
Well, just for reference, so this is a 17 model, and you expect to get around 17 or 75,000 out of it, but the new replacement, what did it cost to replace it?
The new one cost, the last one we bought was $325,000.
Thank you.
But the new
How
one,
many miles does this have on it for reference?
this truck had almost 200,000 miles.
20,000.
And
Okay.
the new ones are even more now.
Yep. Any other questions? If not, next item is purchase of service truck.
Yes, you should have before you, it's a state bid from Montgomery, from Stivers Ford. I believe I brought to y'all's attention the last meeting we had at Public Works about needing a service truck. Our crane does not work on the service truck that we have now. The truck that we have now is not four-wheel drive, so when we had that snow and ice conditions, we had some issues with it getting it out on the road. So this truck here, this is everything we need. It's four-wheel drive, diesel dually. It'll have a utility bed on the back. It'll have a lift gate that actually will work better, so we can load the heavy tires on the back. And 3,500. But you can see what all it comes with. This is a state bid, so we will not have to bid it out. They have the bid for 2024.
Okay.
And
Go ahead.
I talked to Colby. They're in need of another truck, maintenance department, and I think the truck that we have would be perfect for them for the mowing, to pull that lawnmower and put stuff in the utility bed. But I got a price on it, but I to sell it at auction. But I'd be willing to work a deal out with him and give him a good deal, help him out. I know he needs it.
How long will it take to get one of these?
This truck right here is on the lot, so somebody backed out on it, and I actually had another truck to present y'all at the last meeting, and it sold. So this is the next one on the list.
Okay. And they're gonna hold it for you for a while?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you could put that on new business next meeting?
Yeah, you can put on new business.
This one has a crane?
No, sir, we're not going with the crane. We're gonna go with a lift gate. We think that'll work better.
That makes sense. The question I have is the dumbest person on this panel. What is the difference between a 7.3 liter V8 gas engine and a 6.7 liter V8 diesel engine?
About $12,000.
Are you asking about the difference in a diesel and a gas
Well, yeah,
burner? So you can look on the front page. It says other options. I think it's the fourth box. It says $9,301. So that's to go to a diesel.
No, my question is, why are we choosing a diesel as opposed to a gas?
This is what we have. What we have
So
available.
this is what's available?
Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
so
sir.
it's not your preference, it's just what's on the lot?
No, and I looked at a gas burner too, looking at maybe next year they can build it. But the price, $9,000 for just this package. But next year, I don't know what it'll be.
So, okay, I mean, my question would be, is to get the same truck or equivalent, I mean, is it worth the additional money to,
I
as far
think,
as to get it now versus getting what we want or need?
personally, I think a diesel would be better for this operation,
Okay.
for the size of the truck, because it's pulling so much weight, because we're gonna put an air compressor on it, we're gonna put a welder on it, we're gonna put a lot of equipment on it, so that way we're going up these mountains and stuff. I just think a diesel would be better off.
You know, in the past, they say diesels last longer, more miles.
Yeah,
Is that true
and
still?
this truck right here is not gonna be something we're gonna rotate. This is gonna be something we're gonna keep. The truck that we got now is a 2011, so I'm trying to look at something to keep a while.
Comment?
I can probably answer the question from Mr. Buckner that he
Thank you.
asked.
I knew somebody on this panel could.
Better than anybody in the room, seeing that I own a fleet of diesel and gas burners. So, a diesel engine will bring you more on resale down the road. It'll bring a better resale, but just the sheer maintenance and expense of owning a diesel operation is far more now because they're so expensive to operate. You know, oil change on a diesel engine is going to cost you $150, $200 versus about $70, $80 on a gas burner. And the lifespan, these new gas burners have come a long way, but again, you're going to make it on the resale when you decide to resell this down the road. You're just going to be out a lot more expense when you have to work on it. So most commercial companies are now going to gas burners in this size truck. That's the new norm, just because of the sheer expense. I just had to replace a diesel engine last week. Cost me $20,000. So gas burner you can replace for half that. But in the long term, they will bring you more on resale.
Okay. Okay. And so with our stated goal of this is going to be on the lot and we're going to keep it, we're not in a fleet renewal thing on this. Is, I mean, maybe this is something smarter heads could do an analysis of owning and operating a diesel over the life versus owning and operating a gas over the life. And do we currently have mechanics on staff that can service the diesel?
Yeah, so that would help out on the cost too, because we do our own maintenance too.
To diesel or to diesel and gas?
To both.
Okay, okay. All right. Thank you. I knew I would get educated, so I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Governor.
So we can wait till next meeting and they will hold it for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Next item that we have is a purchase of a fork truck.
So this is something that we've been needing a long time. We do not currently have a forklift truck. From what I understand, no department in the county owns one. We've been borrowing Public Works, and thank you, Johnson, for letting us use their front loader in times when we have chemicals delivered, when we have cans delivered, we got to unload them. So we've run into a couple, because these guys work really hard, we run into a couple of cases here lately where their front loader's been out on a job site and we didn't have anything to unload a truck with. So I searched and looked and found this forklift. This is at LaGrange, Georgia. It's a rental facility that rents them out, so they've got records where they've serviced it regular. It's a 2019 Hyundai. It's got a Kubota engine, so we have a Kubota dealer pretty nearby. So I let my mechanic look at it, and I brought him about 3, and this is the one he picked. He said this is the one that he could work on, that had a lot of good reviews, and it's kind of in our budget that I gave him. But you can see the price for this truck, or forklift.
Comments, questions?
Does that mean, I mean, there's no guarantees of anything with it?
It comes with a 90-day warranty.
Have you checked with the local rental facilities like United Sunbelt? I know they're readily available.
Yes, sir.
I've looked at purchasing some from them in the recent months and priced them myself.
Yeah, I've reached out to United Rentals in Stevenson. I've reached out to Sunbelt in Hollywood, and both of them have not yet to get back with me.
What is the daily rental on a forklift?
I do not have that in front of me right now.
Just, I mean, just thinking in terms of if you just need it once, twice a year, then what would that cost versus
Well,
having
I think you have to
something
rent it by the month. I mean, you
Okay.
probably could do it by the day. but-
150 to 200 a day.
Okay.
I see we have a Sunbelt gentleman in the back.
Is that about right?
It's close.
Yeah, okay, all right. So I won't ask you what we should do here, but
Any other questions? We'll put this on new business for the next meeting. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith, next we would like to give an update of what we have been doing since Wednesday in response to the tornado activity that we've had. Before Mr. Smith starts, I'd like, and I know all of you guys know that this affected communities all across Jackson County. Limrock, Princeton, Estill Ford, High Top, Skyline, Scottsboro, Paint Rock Valley, Pleasant View, Henniger, and DeKalb County as well had some severe damage. And if you look across, we've had buildings certainly impacted, but we have had family homes completely destroyed in various parts of the county. We had trees on roads. We had conditions where it took hours to clear trees. There were so many on roads as we tried to get the families across the county. And you guys were part of trying to get to those families, and we know that. Every house that's destroyed, that is absolutely severe damage. But for an area to have massive severe damage up in the Pleasant View area, there's an area up there between county roads 162, 125, 422, and 322. There are a lot of families without homes. So, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, gentlemen. You got a packet that I left for you this morning, hopefully to give you the latest information and updates that we have, but I'm here to tell you that's probably wrong. We were contacted by the Weather Service 15 minutes ago. We now have 4 confirmed tornadoes in Jackson County. The one at Princeton that Mr. McBride sent me an email about, that's been confirmed as a tornado, and they're looking at 2 more. So I've lived in Jackson County 57 years. I don't remember ever having more than 4 tornadoes hit Jackson County out of a single event. So this is going to be one that we remember for a while. As I said, 4 confirmed tornadoes between EF0 and EF3. Anything more than an EF2 is considered a violent tornado. So we did have at least 2 violent tornadoes. Straight line wind in the western portion of the county around Paint Rock Valley and High Top. Now that's subject to change as well. They're still looking at radar loops on that. Thursday night into Friday morning, we had 9 tornado warnings issued for the county. We sounded the sirens 19 times. I don't ever remember sounding them that many times. We have 75 homes surveyed as of today, with surveys ongoing. The aggregate damage total, and I want to expound on this because it's going to take a little bit of explaining, but the aggregate damage total to Jackson County as of today was $3.89 million in property value. Now, what that means for us is that we enter all that property damage, pictures, tax information into a system called Orion that the state of Alabama uses across the state so that everybody's on the same page. $3.89 million property may or may not have been damaged, destroyed, or just affected, or may have moderate damage. So that will be the delineator as to how much actual damage we have. But we have, I feel sure, already surpassed the damage threshold for Jackson County, which is $242,000 and some change. The roadways have been cleared. Utilities are being restored, and as far as I know, they've all been restored. I've heard from 3 of our 4 utilities. Scottsboro Electric Power Board is estimating between $75,000 and $100,000 worth of damage. Sand Mountain Electric Co-op has estimated their damage at $90,800. They had 20 poles and 11 transformers in the Henniger area that they had to replace. So that's what they're basing their numbers on. Farmer's Tale, I don't have any estimates for them yet. They say it may be June the 1st before they get all their final numbers, but they did replace a lot of fiber line, and we all know the fiber is expensive to replace. But we're still waiting on response from North Alabama Electric Co-op, but as far as we know, all service has been restored. So a lot of folks want to talk about bringing FEMA in and disaster declarations and how that works. So in order to trigger a FEMA response for any kind of storm, just a tornado does not automatically trigger FEMA coming in. Wind is wind is wind. So we have to first meet our county threshold, which has been met. That's not a problem. The state of Alabama's damage threshold is $9.244 million from one event, one storm system. At this point, they've not met that yet. We may not know if or when they've met that for several more weeks. They have 30 days to finalize all their damage assessments, and we've been at this since Friday morning early. We had crews come in from Calhoun County, Morgan County, Marshall County, and Cherokee County, and Etowah County, Gadsden, to come in and help us do damage assessments. They worked 12 hours and managed to get all the damage assessments done in 12 hours, with the exception of a few stragglers that we've had reported since then. But now we've not had anything reported since Saturday afternoon. So we feel like that we've captured all that damage data and sent every dollar that we know of into the state for them to parse the numbers. So, like I said, to trigger a disaster declaration through the Stafford Act, the county threshold has to be met as well as the state threshold. You can't have one without the other. So, at this point, can't answer the FEMA question, which leads to other questions that we've got coming down the road, reference to debris removal and that kind of thing, and I'm going to let Mr. Campbell address that. But so far, that's what we have, and that's what we know. I want to thank all our volunteers, too. Sheriff deputies and police officers and volunteer fire departments went to work immediately, and not just the ones from Henniger. I know I watched the mutual aid system work wonderfully. There were folks coming in from Bridgeport, Section, Macedonia, everywhere else flooded into that area, both rescue squads.
If you don't mind, I'll give a list real quick.
Go ahead.
Of the list that I have. Responders that were hitting the ground right away. Sheriff's Department. The Scottsboro Jackson County Rescue Squad. Rosalie Rescue Squad. All the local fire departments seem to be engaged somewhere in the county that were helping immediately. With chainsaws trying to clear trees before we could get great alls and other things there. Highlands ambulances were on site, particularly up in the Henniger area. ALDOT was there at our call request. They showed up and was helping clear the road, particularly up 40 that had severe tree damage down. Our public works team was spread across the county, in the valley and up on Sand Mountain. Henniger Police even helped in Jackson County when we could not get past County Road 40 because of the downed trees and damage took us hours. The Henniger community responded to the other side of it. The State Highway Patrol was there to help. Salvation Army was there. Red Cross was there. In Scottsboro, you had Scottsboro Fire and Police. The Power Board was helping not just in Scottsboro, but they were helping in other areas of the county. Scottsboro Water, Sewer, and Gas was helping. North Alabama Electric, Sand Mountain Electric, Farmers Telecommunications. The number of volunteer organizations that were on the ground Thursday and Friday and Saturday was tremendous. Excuse me just a minute. Neighbors helping neighbors.
4 Alabama counties were impacted by this storm system in the north. It's Limestone, Madison, us and the county. And I've talked to those other directors all weekend, and I don't have a problem telling you that as bad as it was on the DeKalb County side in Henniger, Jackson County took the leg from this system.
Yeah.
We got hit the hardest. So this is not something that we're going to be able to recover from in a week's time, 2 weeks' time. It's going to take some time. And I just want folks to be mindful of that, be patient. We've put out a lot of information where folks can self-report damage in case we've missed something. And that's all over our social media, all over the local newspapers and websites. We really need to get that out there. We don't want to miss anything. Because when it comes to getting help from the federal government, you've got to provide good, solid numbers, and we need all the numbers we can get at this point. So I'll be glad to answer any questions y'all got, and I'll thank you for sending me that email. Because the only thing we knew about 508 was they called in Friday and said the road's blocked and we can't get out. We didn't know about those houses.
If I could comment on that, the Lord was definitely watching after both those households. I mean, one of the houses was completely destroyed. I say completely, there were 2 rooms that weren't destroyed, one he was in, and then there was a room on the other side. And then about 200 yards away, a wall was taken off of their house. But the Lord was watching that.
We also had a gentleman take a ride in a mobile home out there on 508 too. So somebody had their hand on him as well.
Let me ask County Engineer, Mr. Campbell, just to give us a status on roads.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. Crews responded to this event: County Road 113-9, County Road 27, 434, 162, 125, 322, 422, 22, 382, 16, 508, and 164. As we progress through the days, we've learned about other potential damages from storm-related issues such as drainage structures, debris, storm debris that's made it to the roadsides that were probably handled by volunteer groups or other efforts. And there's probably more that we'll learn about, which is usually standard for a storm of this magnitude. So we anticipate there'll be other things, and when these occur, then we, like past storms, go into FEMA mode with things. So there are different categories that FEMA recognizes, understanding that we're not at a point where we know a distinction on declaration at this point, but beginning the tracking process and the procedural steps on categorizing the work and tracking cost in the event that this is a declared emergency. Emergency protective measures, or those first response, is a category, as well as the debris removal. So the roadways that crews have responded to would be considered the cut and toss first pass that's recognized by FEMA on the debris removal, and then beyond, the restorative work of debris cleanup would also be a recognized category that the county could expect reimbursement if it does make a declaration. As Mr. Smith indicated.
Any questions, comments from commissioners? So the phases that we have immediately got into certainly was response phase. We're now into the damage assessment phase, and that's seeing where the damage is and also trying to get an idea of what the damage cost is across the county. As Mr. Smith said, we will pass that on to state EMA, and they will collect from the 4 affected counties, and they will be working. And I will tell you, they're diligently working. As Paul said, we had 4 county EMA teams plus members of the state EMA here working with us Saturday or Thursday. Oh no, I'm sorry, Friday. It was Friday and Saturday. Getting out to households and businesses and helping with that damage assessment. So all that data from all the counties affected will be sent to the state. It's going to take a little while for them to get through that process and determine whether or not they have can meet the threshold for the state, and then that will then go to the federal government and to determine whether or not we get FEMA assistance. Regardless of whether we get FEMA assistance or not, we will take care of what we are authorized to take care of in recovery and cleanup. And principally, that's going to be taking care of what's in the easement of all of our county roads. We got some work to do to understand what the extent of that is, where it is, and what we have to do. So we will do our due diligence of getting that information together and then go through the process of implementing what this emergency declaration allows us to do. So any other comment regarding that?
I won't answer any questions if I can.
Okay, any questions?
So, you know, people are asking me, what should I do at this point? Because, I mean, we did remove debris from the roadways, but it's still like blocking some people's doorways. And, I mean, it's pretty extensive there on 508 and other places. I know over on 9, the store there, the porch is laying down and covering the doorway. I don't even know if you can access the building unless you can come in from the back. So they need to, I know everybody needs to make sure everybody's safe doing this, and that's something that we need to be diligent and getting across to people. You know, I know of a guy that's been severely injured just cutting a limb and another tree hitting him and almost killing him. Not this time, but what do they do right now? I mean, is it safe to say that we can go ahead and take pictures of and move things, or all the pictures have already been taken that we need as far as assessment, or what?
Are you referring to debris along the right of way or along the roadways? Or debris on private property?
Yeah.
So, you know, typically, private property is off limits for us. So in events such as this, the debris generally makes its way to the roadside after some amount of time. I guess in an ideal situation, we learn of how this is going to go from a declaration standpoint while that is happening. And then, as the chairman alluded to, we would then have a clearer idea of the amount and quantity of debris for an estimation purposes, and we could arrive at a monetary amount, you know, at least from an estimation standpoint, on what we're up against, on a dollar amount, and which way to go on debris removal, as well as knowing where we stand for a declaration. Did that answer you?
Just to help you along, any debris that's on someone's property, or they need to get it off their house or their shed
Right.
or out to the road. Jackson County's fortunate, we have one of the very few volunteer organizations active in disaster chapters in the state.
Okay.
And we've got volunteer organizations standing ready to go do that for folks who need the help. Just call my office.
Just as clarification, be careful not, and make sure I'm right, be careful not to mix foliage with other items, because, you know, foliage pickup, tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so just looking forward on that, it would definitely be an assistance to anyone cleaning up, whether it's the county contract, regardless, for things to be separated. And by that I mean vegetative debris is one category, C and D is another category, white goods is another category. So typically through debris reduction, untreated lumber and vegetative debris can be reduced. That's the most cost-effective way. The other things have to go through a landfill protocol.
So like I say, we got a ways to go to get this plan together, get through the assessment phase, and determine what will be the scope of effort required for us to do the cleanup. That's going to be getting out and surveying across the county where that cleanup has to be on the roads. And so we got a little ways to go. We're going to get that done county-wide. We will clean up our responsibility along the roads and in the easements, but I can't promise everybody that we're going to be at that tomorrow. We got some work to do to get ourselves positioned to do that. We're not going to take forever, that's for sure. But we just need to make sure we're prepared and understand what it is that we have to do, and we'll get that done. Anything else, guys?
Any other question?
Okay.
Thank you all.
So that is the last item that we have on the agenda, and I'm gonna say one more time, guys, thank you very much. Now, I appreciate you being here tonight. I was gonna take up for our county departments because they work alongside of you out there, and they do a good job as well. And so we appreciate y'all working with them, and thank you for what you're doing. At this point, we're going to get the reports from the staff, county administrator. Nothing. County engineer, anything else?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay. County attorney, anything?
Nothing.
Nothing. So we'll move to comments from the commission. District 4, Commissioner McBride.
Just want to again say thank you to all the volunteers that helped during this tragic time, and they're always willing to put their community first and those around. I know that, you know, I went out that after it happened, I mean, and you got people that you hadn't seen in years showing up with tractors and chainsaws, and they weren't all volunteer firefighters, but I know you guys do this every day. And, you know, I helped a little bit, and I was tired in 5 minutes. And I can imagine what y'all go through. I talked to one of the guys on one of the boards, and he said that one of the co-op guys, or 2 of them were working on 38 hours without rest. So he was sending them home. But I mean, I just want to say thanks to everybody that took part and everything that you did.
Okay. District 3, Commissioner Buck.
Yeah, I want to echo everything that Commissioner McBride said, but also just as a commentary to my rescue squads, fire departments, all you volunteers, the fact that not only are you doing that as volunteers, but often you're spending time fundraising and doing things that are taking additional time away from your family is I hate to use the word shameful, but it's something that you shouldn't have to do in addition to what you're already doing and going out in the hardest needs. And so I commend you for what you're doing, and by all means, when you do have an event, let us know so we can help publicize it, we can participate in it, but also be patient with us in this, because I don't want you to get just a token gesture. I want you to get something that is sustainable. You know, we're a long way from you guys receiving a salary or something of that nature, but you should be able to do what you're doing without having to double that time by raising the money for pancake breakfasts, barbecue dinners, 4-way stops, selling raffles, all these extra things you do. But again, I know in Jackson County, if something happens, you guys are going to be the first faces that people see, and I'm very appreciative of everything you do.
District 2, Mr. Kinnaman.
I'd like to know the guys, when you leave your home, your wife's there, and I bet you don't hear a word from them, do you? Because they know what you're going to do. And I appreciate every one of you and everybody that volunteers to do what you do.
District 1, Commissioner Gully.
Yeah, I'll just tell you, it does my heart good to see everybody coming here in solidarity, to speak up, you know, from the association. And it just goes to show the camaraderie of all our fire departments that are here standing together, you know, and I appreciate everything you do. I stand with you. I've done it myself for all these years. I'm not quite as active as I once was. Of course, we're getting older. But we're going to look and see what we can do for you, and I promise you I'll advocate for you all I can. And I appreciate all the work that you do and through everything. You know, it's a tough job. It's a thankless job, and I thank you for what you do.
Well, I think all I will say at the end of this, with all of our comments, is thank you, not only to those that are in the room here tonight, but everybody that has been helping this whole week for what we're dealing with in Jackson County. So thank you so much. Our next meeting date is May the 28th. It will be here at 5 o'clock. We are going to go into executive session for a few minutes to discuss good name and character. So at this time, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks again for being here. I need